On this day, roughly 2 or so years ago, I did a book blogger's confession tag. It's been a while since I've done a book tag, so why not revisit something 2 years basically to the date? This is the book blogger's confession tag. Let's jump right on in. Question number 1. Which book, most recently, did you not finish? It's actually been a while since I DNF'd a book, so let's have a look. Just quickly, so that you know where I found this, over on my Discord, the Sparkle Cafe, under my channel name, it's literally a channel on the Discord called Mr. Francy, I have all these stats of this year and of my reading of all time, which makes things so much easier to find. But anyway, the latest book that I DNF'd, the most recent that is this book, Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane. I just wasn't vibing with it at all. It just wasn't the book for me. I also then went an extra step and looked into the premise of the film to see if that might catch my interest and get me back into reading the book, but it just wasn't working either way. I didn't even attempt the movie because, yeah, it just wasn't for me at all. So I DNF'd that one very, very early on. Wow, I said I did this tag 2 years ago. I actually did it 3 years ago. And I also want to supply those answers here too. So my answer in late September of 2020 was The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. So I think that's an adult fantasy. Yeah, I'd been hearing about that book for a little while and so decided to give it a go. And there was a lot of swearing in it and some graphic things that were being mentioned early on with things to do with what you leave in your bathroom, if you're getting my gist, and it just wasn't working for me at all, so I DNF'd it. I'm a massive advocate of DNFing. If you don't like what you're reading, put it down, and more importantly, pick up something else. Something that is going to be fun for you and, you know, entice you to want to keep on reading. So, there you go. In 2020, it was The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch, and in 2023, it was Shutter Island by Dennis Lehane. Question number 2 is, which book is your guilty pleasure? Oh my goodness, I actually have a number of books that are my guilty pleasure that it's really tough to say. I think I know what my answer was for 2020 and I don't want to repeat that. So I'm just going to cheat and check what that was. Yeah, I was right, and I'll tell you what that is in a minute, but let's have a look and see what my guilty pleasure is at the moment. You know what, it would have to be the Housemate series by Jay Northcote. Book number 1 is called Helping Hand. This is an adult, extremely spicy male romance series. And when I say extremely spicy, I mean you get 2 pages of an introduction and then the final page of things being wrapped up, and the rest is nothing but spice, if you get my drift. So I never really used to be someone who was into spicy books, but then I came across a series by Alice Winters called the Vampire Crimes related series, I think it's called, and I wanted to read a spicy series, so I read that. But that more read to me as like a cozy mystery combined with a spicy book, whereas Helping Hand by Jay Northcote is as spicy as it gets. And so because of how spicy it is, I'll call it a guilty pleasure. I'm not ashamed to say that. My answer in 2020, yeah, I remembered it, as I said earlier, and it was the Selection series by Kiera Cass. I think the reason that I was mainly looking at that one as a guilty pleasure series for me was because of the fact that as a guy, I was reading a series of physical books that had a woman on each cover in a ball gown, and it just wasn't something that I was used to doing growing up because I would receive, you know, a lot of issues as a guy reading a book that would have a cover with a girl with a frilly dress on the cover. Obviously, as an adult, I don't care what people think about me anymore, and I think that's a great thing. So at the end of the day, I don't read in public, but that's not because I'm ashamed to. I just don't. If I did, I wouldn't care if I read the Selection in public, or anything really at all that I'm reading in public. But yeah, at the time, it was that one. So in 2023, it was book number 1 in the Housemate series by Jay Northcote. And in 2020, it was the Selection series by Kiera Cass. That took a while, so let's quickly jump into question number 3. Which book would you throw into the sea? Are you kidding me? I wouldn't. I wouldn't throw a book into the sea because physically harming a book or throwing it away into the trash, to me, is just... I don't know. It's heresy. So if I don't like a book, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone else isn't going to like that book, and therefore I like giving books that I don't like or don't necessarily want to hang on to. I want to give them a second chance at life. So I'll donate them to different areas so that people can read them and enjoy them for themselves. So honestly, my answer is I don't have a book that I would throw into the sea. But honestly, if I were to have to throw a book into the sea, it would probably be this book, We Are Totally Normal by Naomi Kanakia. This is just a book that really, really upset me, and the moment I was able to unhaul it, I did. Long story short, we follow this guy by the name of Nandan, who is straight, but who is pretending to be gay in order to advance his own sexual prowess amongst the girls at school to gain their trust. It was just a horrible book. So if I would throw any book into the sea, it would be this one. I didn't, though. I ended up unhauling it. I'm really intrigued to see what my answer is for 2020. The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Yes, I 100% agree with past Mr. Francy. In April of 2020, so obviously it was on my mind at the time, when I filmed it in this vlog in this book vloggers confession tag in September 2020, it was on my mind. In April of 2020, I read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy because one of my best friends, it was her birthday. In order to celebrate her birthday, I gave all of those books immunity. What I meant by that was that even if I didn't like them, I was not allowed to DNF them. This was the one time I ever gave a book or series immunity from DNFing, and I never have again and never will, because I actually didn't even like The Hobbit, and then I had to get through that whole trilogy, and I didn't like that either. Look, honestly, there are people out there who absolutely love The Lord of the Rings, there are people out there who don't love Lord of the Rings, there are people out there who've only seen the movies, there are people out there who've only read the books, there are people out there who are nonplussed about Lord of the Rings and haven't watched or read it. But anyway, for me, it was overly descriptive and overly repetitive, and it really annoyed me, and by the time I was done, I was just thankful to be done with the series. So, yes, I agree. The Fellowship of the Ring, yeah, my 2020 pick. So, yeah, I end up unhauling the series and The Hobbit as soon as I was able to. So, quick refresher there. My 2023 answer is We Are Totally Normal by Naomi Kanakia, and my 2020 answer was The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. Question number 4 is, which book have you read the most? I know my answer, and I wonder if it was the same in 2020. Yeah, it is a different answer. So my answer in 2023 is this book, Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I have not read this book in a while. I don't remember the last time I read it, but I have read this book the most since starting my booktube channel because I love it so much. And yet in saying that, I don't remember the last time I read a Brandon Sanderson book. But anyway, so that's my answer for 2023. My answer in 2020 was Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. That doesn't surprise me. That particular book in that particular series features a time travel trope, and I really enjoyed it. So I gravitate towards that book a lot. I've gravitated to the series a lot. You know, people think different things about the author. I'm not getting into that discussion, separating the author from the series. I love the Harry Potter series, and I haven't read it this year, but I will definitely be planning on getting back to it again next year because I do love reading that series. But yeah, 2023 answer is Mistborn, The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. 2020 answer, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Question number 5 is, which book would you hate to receive as a present? Who comes up with these questions? I honestly don't know if I would ever hate to receive a book as a present, unless maybe it was We Are Totally Normal by Naomi Kanakia. I mean, if someone bought me that as a present, that would be interesting. I mean, because I'm always thankful. If anyone buys me a gift, That's very nice and considerate of them. If that gift happens to be a book, then it shows that they've invested enough time to get to know what I love. And so I appreciate that they've taken the time to find a book for me. That's lovely. And I'll always be thankful for it. So it's tough for me to say which book would I hate to receive as a present, because I'd love a book regardless of what it is. I just think that would be amazing. But as far as which book would I hate to receive, I don't know. It's a tough one. I just saw my 2020 answer, and I'll tell you that in just a moment. Okay, going off of my 2020 answer, I can come up with an answer in 2023. You know what? I'll stick with my answer. We Are Totally Normal by Naomi Kanakia. Whilst I would be incredibly thankful for that person having chosen a book for me, I would be really upset about it on the inside, because I would need to get rid of it. Because I just can't have that book in this house. It's way too problematic for the LGBTIQ plus community, and I just can't support that. But my answer for 2020 was Nevernight by J. Kristoff, and I totally get why. Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I think it is a YA dystopian? I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was a YA fantasy. Who knows? I definitely don't think it was YA. I had many issues with that book and with the writing style. And so I guess I would have hated to receive that book in September of 2020. But yeah, there you go. There's my answers for that one. 2023 is, what did I say? We Are Totally Normal by Naomi Kanakia. And a 2020 answer, Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I'm sorry. Rewatching that video back, and feel free to look it up yourself. Book Vloggers Confession tag Mr. Francy Reads. You will find it. And question number 6 is, which book could you not live without? And I'm saying in the video, if you've watched me long enough, you won't be surprised to know the answer. I'm sure I know the answer, and I want to know if I'm right. Yeah, I'm right. Okay, so I need to come up with a 2023 answer for this one. Which book could you not live without? It's a tough one, really, because there are a lot of books that I really don't want to unhaul, but I don't know if I could choose one over all the others. I guess, maybe The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. That is a huge book. I don't remember how many pages it is, but it's somewhere between 700 and 1,000, somewhere around there. And I got through it in the space of a week, which I felt was a huge accomplishment for me at the time. And I really enjoy the story, and I love the edition that I have of that one as well, with the green cover and the masks on it. So I think it would be very hard to part with that book. But the question is asking, which book could you not live without? I think things were different back for me in 2020. You know, if I had to live without my books, I could do it now. Where in 2020 I had one that, I think I went on to say that if someone had broken into my house and they would demand to steal a book, I hope I have enough time to hide this one. I'm going to check and see if I actually did say that. But if memory serves, I did. Okay, no, I didn't say it. But my answer for 2020 was Mistborn: The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. And my 2023 answer is, what did I say? The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Question number 7 is, which book made you cry the most? And depending upon if I had read this book at that time, I think I know the answer, but I want to see. Oh, okay, so I hadn't read that book. Okay, so I can use it now. Okay, my 2023 answer is going to be A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. I don't even need to find the book on my bookshelf or do any looking at my bookshelf. I already know the answer. That book made me bawl my eyes out, I think at the beginning of the very last chapter. And yeah, I just have so many memories of how emotional I was reading that book. If you want an emotional book, I recommend that one, but it does come with a lot of triggers, so be sure to look up the trigger warnings before you purchase that book or decide to read it. But that will be my 2023 answer. My 2020 answer was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Yeah, there is a particular scene, without giving away spoilers, if you've read the book you know what it is, where something massive happens, and I really don't know what I can say, but something really massive happens towards the end that affects things that were prior to that point, oh my gosh, I'm trying to say spoiler free. But anyway, that moment, I'm always very emotional when I read that moment or if I watch that moment on with the movie. So there you go. 2023 answer is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. 2020 answer is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Okay, question number 8. Seriously, who writes these questions? Is which book cover do you hate the most? Okay, seriously, I mean, I'm Mr. Francy. I'm all about positivity. There's so many hate, throw in the sea, all these kind of questions. Like, really? Okay, which book cover do you hate the most? I don't even know what answer I gave in 2020. It's a tough one for me. I guess when book covers don't represent, what's going on inside the book, I would go with a book like that. So I don't like using the word hate, but I hate when a book cover doesn't represent the main theme or topic that is going on inside the book. And so for this one, I'm going to have to go with, okay, to be truthful, I knew the cover in my mind, but I couldn't remember the title of the book. And you need to know that I'm not saying I particularly hate the cover, but I hate the cover for the fact that it doesn't represent what's going on in the book. And I finally found the title. It's called Basket Case by Nancy Haddock. This is book number 1 in the Silver Six Crafting Mystery Series. It's an adult cozy mystery. This cover is a beautiful cover. I don't hate the cover, but I do hate the fact that this is the cover chosen for the sake that it does not at all represent the main theme of the book. It is totally unrepresentative of the book as a whole. Okay, so it's tough to distinguish with this one, but in September of 2020, my answer was my original cover editions that I had for the Vampire Academy series. I have since upgraded my editions to the covers that I do like. But yeah, my answer was the Vampire Academy cover that has a picture of a girl on the cover of book 1. It's a red cover, and there's a picture of a girl on the cover. I have since upgraded to the editions that have the big V and A on the cover, and I do like those ones. So I think I was just making a point that, well, answering the actual question, which I should have done this time too, which is a cover you don't like just for the sake of not liking the cover. So yeah, I did end up upgrading that edition. And that is all the questions and answers there for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this book tag. It's been a while since I've done one. Who do I tag? Honestly, everyone and anyone who wants to do the tag, just let me know that you've done it so that I can come along and watch you do it on your video. So yeah, anyone and everyone, you want to do it? I'm giving you my full permission. Go right ahead and do the tag. In the meantime, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, happy reading. Bye, everyone.